Okay, so here's the first secret. Jaipur has leopards. I'll come back to that. But first, let's dive into the yummiest part of the city. It's food. Hello, I'm Shupra, editor of Travel Secrets, and today I'm showing you the Jaipur you don't see in travel brochures. Let's go. We're starting with food because Jaipur feeds you until you can't eat more and can't wait to eat more. Start at Samrat or Rawat for kachoris. These are not the kachoris you've had elsewhere. Crispy, spiced, served with two chutneys, eaten standing at a counter with total strangers who all have the same expression, the one that means, why didn't I come here sooner? Then walk to MI Road and find Lassi Wala. The lassi here is not drunk, it is eaten, thick, cold, set like yogurt, served in a clay cooler that you crush when you're done because that's just what you do. It's an event, not a beverage. Finish, and I mean this seriously, finish at Pandit Kulfi. Now, if you're in the mood for something more obscure, find your way to Ghee Walon Ka Rasta in Johri Bazaar, shop numbers 25 to 27. This is Sambar Fini Wala. The Fini, a fried, flaky rice flour sweet, gets dunked whole into hot chashni, loaded with pistachios, almonds, and saffron, and served immediately. It's a winter dessert gifted at Makar Sankranti and eaten the way all the best things are fast, standing, slightly burning your fingers. While you're there, try their rabri and malai ghevar. You can stop counting the calories till you get home because there's so much more. Around the corner at Johri Bazaar, shop 344 is Narayanji for Gajak. If you know, you know. If you don't, you want that Gurki Gajak. And before you leave the old city, one more stop. Bombay Mishthan Bhandar on MI Road outside Sanganeri Gate. Asked for the Meetha Sikora Doodh. Served hot, thick malai on top, not too sweet, gone in 4 minutes. Now, now let's talk about where to go when everyone else is at Amber Fort. First, Gaitore ki Chhatriyan. This is the royal cremation ground of Jaipur's kings, a collection of intricately carved marble cenotaphs set against a quiet hillside. The craftsmanship is extraordinary. The crowds are almost non existent. There is something about the stillness here that the fort, with its tourist buses and audio guides, simply cannot give you. Go in the morning when the light comes through the carved screens and falls on the marble in patterns. Bring nothing, just look. Second, Panna Meena Ka Kund, 10 minutes from Amber Fort, a 16th century stepwell with a geometric zigzag staircase that looks genuinely like it was designed for Instagram. 400 years before Instagram existed. Barely a soul visits it. If you're a photographer, this is your moment. If you're not, it's still your moment. Third, and look up when you're in Tripolia Bazaar. Sarga Suli Tower, a 7-story watchtower that most people walk past without a second glance. Go up 360-degree views of the pink city, rooftops, minarets, the haze of the old city spreading out in every direction. It's Jaipur's secret rooftop. Think of it as a mini Qutub Minar that nobody is visiting because nobody told them it was there until now. And one more. On Maniharon Ka Rasta, bangle makers have been working for decades. Lac bangles made by hand. The process so intricate and hypnotic that you will stand and watch for far longer than you planned. You don't have to buy anything, just watch. It's one of the most quietly extraordinary craft traditions still alive in this country. Now, where do you go when you need to breathe? Wind View Cafe, directly opposite the Hawa Mahal, open terrace, views of the Pink City and the fort beyond. Go at dusk when the Hawa Mahal is lit. Order something you don't really need and just sit with it. For a proper escape, let me take you to Kanota Dam. A short drive from the city center, this is where Jaipur goes when it wants to be left alone. Families picnicking, couples watching the water, the kind of sunset that turns everything copper and gold. Not a single tourist in sight. And that's the point. And if you travel with children, or even if you don't, you must discover the Elephantastic Sanctuary, an ethical elephant sanctuary on the outskirts of Jaipur where you can spend time with rescued elephants, not riding them, but walking with them, feeding them, understanding them. In a city full of places that exploit elephants for tourism, this one does the opposite. It's worth knowing about. Here's the most unexpected thing I'm going to tell you about Jaipur. In the Sitapura Industrial Estate, which sounds like the last place you'd go to on holiday, there is a whitewashed bungalow, all white lobby. The whole thing has the calm of a Christopher Nolan film set. Inside is the Gyan Museum, free entry. But you have to email them before you visit, which is exactly the kind of gatekeeping that keeps the crowds out and the experience intact. Inside, you will find over 2,500 works of art, textiles, vintage jewels, paintings, decor, all personally collected by gemologist and naturalist Gyan Chand Tada over a lifetime. It is one of the most extraordinary private collections in all of India. Almost nobody knows it exists. Shopping in Jaipur is its own art form, but skip the obvious and find these instead. Idli. French designer Thierry Junot's boutique in central Jaipur is called Idli. Bright colors, Baroque illustrations on clothing, bags, and cushion covers. It's been a favorite among design obsessives for years and still doesn't get the attention it deserves. Then we come to Ekru, a lifestyle store where Arabic cultural motifs meet Indian craft. The two founders grew up in Kuwait and came back to India to interpret that childhood through artisans' hands. Marble plates, ceramic ware, istiganas, hand block, and ikat garments. The store itself is worth visiting just to look at. And for saris, go to Rukmani. Classic chiffon saris in colors you won't find anywhere else, with embroidered motifs that have been worn by Rajput women from royal families for generations. Owning one is not shopping, it's bringing home a piece of that actual history. Jaipur has some of the most opulent hotels in the world. You know the ones. But if you would rather wake up feeling like a guest and not a transaction, 28 Koti in civil lines. That's where you go, a sunshine boutique guest house that marries Rajasthani heritage with something genuinely urbane and unbothered. Book the Moonstone Suite on the first floor, farm to table meals, a cozy in house spa. Arrive with worn out suitcases and leave reluctantly. That's the brief. Let's end with what I started with, the leopards. Just 15 minutes from the city center, past the traffic, past the chai stalls, past everything that looks like urban Jaipur, there is a 23 square kilometer reserve called Jalana. And Jalana has leopards. Not one or two, a thriving population, along with hyenas, jackals, and over 150 species of birds. Most tourists in Jaipur have absolutely no idea this place exists. They are busy queuing for fort tickets while 15 minutes away a leopard is draped over a rock in the morning sun. Jalana does morning and evening safaris. Book in advance. It's not crowded, but it does fill up. And go in the early morning. The light is extraordinary, and so is your chance of a sighting. This is without question the most underrated thing that you can do in Jaipur. I said what I said. Most people leave Jaipur thinking they've seen it. They've seen the version that was prepared for them. The forts polished for tourists, the bazaars they were steered toward, the rooftop restaurants that all have the same menu and the same view. The other Jaipur, the one with the leopard reserve 15 minutes from the city center, a 2,500 piece art museum in an industrial estate, a dessert that's been made in the same way for 100 years in a lane most people walk past without looking in. That Jaipur takes a little more knowing. Now, you know.